Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. For today's task, I am doing more electrical. So clearly we have got a lot of lights to hang out, and I've showed you how to kind of lay out. Where'd I put my gloves? Oh man. I've showed you in other videos how to lay out can lights, and even in past videos, I've showed how to wire them, but I really want to kind of show you my order of operations when it comes to connecting my can lights. It's really simple. It's a few easy steps, and I do it the exact same every single time. And the reason I do it the exact same every time is because it kind of guarantees, well, at least the best outcome so that I don't have missed wiring or screwed up stuff. To start out, we've got a few things that we want to do. We've gotten our can light kind of on layout as far as measurement goes. So we know this is right where it's supposed to be in this track and in this line, but I want it all the way over here. So I do two things. There's a small screw that you tighten, and that locks it in place. That sort of locks things in place. Just gives it a lot of wobble room. I want it to be secure there so that the sheetrockers don't move it when they start drilling this out. So I take my little bitty channel locks. I will link that in the description below. Then on the side of your can light, there's these little tabs, and I take them and bend them in. And there happens to be two, so I bend both in. Now, that can light is very rigid there. It's not going anywhere. Okay, next, I want to bring all my wire to this can. The smartest way to wire so that you're using the least amount of wire isn't to measure or isn't to like pull a little bit and cut and just leave excess everywhere. It's to go to your next can light, which this one is the last one, but you take your wire, go to your last one, pull the wire up and around something, heading to this one. This is the one that I just finished. So that way, when I strip this and bring it back, I'm pulling all the slack out. And I end up right here. Now this one is another connection for this row over here. So we're going to connect all of these at once. All right, now that you've got your box open, get rid of the paper, you don't need that. I like this brand because it has these particular tabs that open up really easy. The old ones were a metal tab that was something you had to kind of pry on. It didn't work very well. So these are really nice ones. You're going to take your wire, kind of measure it, bring it to the box, and then find a spot, kind of a rough measurement of where to start stripping your Romex. This is 14-2 wire, and you use your 14-2 wire stripper section, not your 12-2 because it won't work on this wire, but keep that in mind. So if you're stripping 12-2 wire and you use your 14-2 place, you will cut through too deep. So just be cautious of which ones you're using when you're using them. I usually like to strip off about 5 inches total. Then I strip the black and white wires about a 1/2 inch back on each of them. One side done, grab the other side. And on this one, since we have to cut it, we're just going to do a rough measurement of where we want it to be, where we want it to go into the box, and then cut it from there. Then strip our 14-2 back another 5 or 6 inches. And then you're going to pull off the Romex, which is the white casing, then the paper casing, and then there's actually a paper casing around your ground wire. So this particular brand, for some reason, the paper is really, really stiff. So it takes a little work to get it off, but you definitely want it gone and out of the way. Now strip your black and white wires a 1/2 inch on the end once again. Okay, with all of our wires stripped, we are ready to start putting them into our box. Now here's the part that I really want to stress as far as order of operations go. First and foremost, I always follow this pattern and I never deviate. You'll have a copper wire, a black wire, and a white wire. And That's the same wire we're using on this strand. Sometimes you'll have a red wire, but for this one we just have the black, white, and copper. Without fail, I always follow this order of operations. It is the ground first, which is your bare copper wire, and I do it for both sets of wires. I do it all at the same time. So coppers in, check for tightness. Next, every time I do the neutral or the white wire. Last but not least, we will go for our black wire or our hot wire, and I never go any different order. I do this order the same every time so that I don't have errors when I'm wiring, and two, it helps me kind of identify things as they're supposed to be. It creates muscle memory in my eyes as well. Earlier today, I was wiring one and I happened to grab the wrong color wire and almost had it inserted and realized this doesn't look right. Now with everything connected, we will put them into these little slots. You kind of just push down and slide into the side and it clips in. Do that on both sides. And they won't stay there unless the plate is on, but we're going to bend all the wires into place, kind of shove them in there, get them in there nice and secure. Then we're ready for our cover plate. Once our cover plate goes on, it actually secures those little black clips on the edges to hold the Romex in place. Now this is the part that I really want to stress too, is how to tack or staple your wire. You'll use these kind of wire staples. These are the brand I like. I know that you have to have a staple on each wire going into the box at some point, and since these go opposite directions, they can't be tacked together. They have to be tacked one on one side and one on the other. If you look at this staple, I kind of put it at a slight angle so that it helps grab that wire. When they're flat, the wire still is movable a little bit, but if I put it at a small angle, it seems to clamp down just a little bit tighter. It doesn't break the Romex, but it just holds it so that the slack isn't loosey-goosey. Do the same thing on the other side. And if you're stapling one and it seems to bend, just fix it quickly, bend it back, get it straight. And I don't know that it really matters that much, but what I don't want is an inspector to see a bent nail and think, this looks a little bit subpar. So I try to make sure they're straight every time. That is my order of operations for can lights. And it's what I do every single time. From the very first one that I put in this house to the rest of them throughout the entire house, they will be done the exact same way so that I can eliminate some of the electrical problems you can run into. This is a very simple today's task, but I showed you it mostly so you'll start creating your own order of operations for tasks that you'll be redundantly doing in your own home so that you can eliminate some of the worry or frustration that comes from just scatterbrain doing work. If you guys liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye, guys.